Good evening and welcome to 1010, your top 10 news in 10 minutes. We got another great show for you tonight. While all my friends are away at the school dance. Anyways, let's get right into the news. In Denver, Colorado, one person was killed and several wounded in a shooting and stabbing at the National Western Complex. It happened in a motorcycle expo. And local police spokeswoman Raquel Lopez was pretty confident in calling this a result of a feud between motorcycling gangs. Denver Health revealed that 9 were transported to nearby hospitals while Denver Health went under lockdown and maintained a heavy police presence just as a precaution. But the expo was reportedly not closed, although several road closures went into effect. It only happened on Saturday afternoon, so for us, this news is a couple hours old. We'll have more updates later on, of course. In California, the 3 inmates who escaped from a Santa Ana high-security prison last week are all back in custody. On Friday, fugitive Baek Duong turned himself in after breaking with the other 2 violent criminals in Northern California. Just a day after Duong was being held by authorities, the other 2, Hossein Nayeri and Jonathan Tu, were arrested in San Francisco after a citizen notified police. Nayeri was captured after a short foot pursuit, and Tu was found hiding in a van with ammunition but no gun. Details of their escape are also being revealed. They cut through a metal grate, crawled through plumbing to the roof of the 4-story building, then rappelled down bed sheets. Authorities have also arrested Nushafarin Ravagi, the 44-year-old English teacher within the jail who was suspected to have aided the 3 in their escape. The investigation is far from settled, but we can have a breather that the inmates are not out in the streets anymore. Not even 3 whole months after a Russian Su-24 bomber was shot down by Turkish fighters, Turkey has once again accused Russia of having its jets violate Turkish airspace. The Turkish Foreign Ministry released their information on the intrusion, stating that a Su-34 fighter bomber crossed into Turkey despite numerous warnings. Russia, of course, denied the accusations. NATO urged Russia to respect its member nations' airspaces, but given the tense situation in Syria right now and the lack of activity when Russia assumed control of Crimea, it is doubtful if anything will be done. In the meantime, the Russian sanctions on Turkey is projected to cost the nation $10 billion. Up north in Stockholm, Sweden, around 100 men dressed in black gathered to incite violence against whom they assumed were foreigners and immigrants. Swedish police have not confirmed the reports of the men physically attacking those people, but they have made several arrests for public order offenses and on one case punching an officer in the face. The multicolored armbands that they were reportedly wearing suggest that the men are linked to football gangs, soccer gangs in American English. 163,000 refugees have applied for asylum in the Scandinavian country in 2015. Now the Interior Ministry is considering deporting the ones who had their application rejected, which numbers to as many as 80,000 people. France is organizing a conference on the Israel-Palestine issue to push forward the 2-state solution where Israel and Palestine will coexist on the same piece of land. Now Israel is claiming to fight against Hamas, the Palestinian Islamic organization and ruling party recognized by numerous nations as a terrorist organization, while Palestine is claiming to fight against unjust Israeli settlements in their land. Overall, it is an issue that divided a small sliver of the Mediterranean coast and caused numerous wars and intifadas. French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius believes that the 2-state solution is the only viable fix for the region and warned that France will recognize the Palestinian state should the conference fail. Israel rejected the warning while Palestinian officials in the Negotiations Affairs Department welcomed the plans for a meeting. In Italy, estimations of tens of thousands of people gathered in Rome against same-sex marriages in response to last week's marches and rallies in over 80 Italian cities supporting legislation for legalizing same-sex unions and adoptions. Although the rest of Western Europe have legally recognized homosexuality, Italy's deep Roman Catholic roots seem to have held out against the tide of changing social views on gay marriage. Meanwhile, the legal debate continues in the Italian government right next to the headquarters of the Catholic Church. The 2016 Iowa caucuses are drawing near for both Democratic and Republican parties. Let's go see the latest on the Democratic side. While the State Department released another batch of Hillary Clinton's emails, of which 22 contained top-secret information, the Clinton campaign still kept in high spirits, shrugging off the Republican attacks on the email issue. Meanwhile, the Democratic National Committee is considering an agreement between Clinton and Bernie Sanders on adding 4 more televised debates. Martin O'Malley, whose only chance to really appear on television and news is through these debates, has already shown support for the move. Sanders campaign manager Jeff Weaver proposed that debates would be held in March, April, and May, with no debates on weekends and holidays as before, but of course the DNC is yet to confirm the proposal. In the Republican side, Donald Trump stirred up controversy again when he decided to miss the last Republican debate before the Iowa caucus to protest Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly's moderating and hold a fundraiser for veterans instead. Many have criticized Trump for the move despite the candidate and billionaire's claims that he has raised $6 million. In an interview with CBS's Face the Nation, moderator John Dickerson recalled an instance in 2012 when Trump criticized candidates for lacking courage for not participating in the debate, to which Trump continued to accuse Fox of unfair treatment. Not to mention, of course, the accusations from some veterans groups of using veterans as a political tool to escape the debate. And just great. I started out trying to talk about the entire Republican presidential race, and I ended up just talking about Trump. It happens all the time. And Japan wowed the world this week by officially unveiling the Mitsubishi X2, the more advanced prototype of the original design, the ATDX. It's a tandem seat stealth fighter with a strange thrust vectoring system. Thrust vector, for those of you who don't know, is the ability to move the exhaust ports to make the plane more maneuverable. Usually designs either have the traditional cylindrical nozzle sitting on a ball mount, or in the case of the American F-22 Raptor, horizontal panels that shift up and down. Mitsubishi instead went for an older NASA design consisting of 3 panels. The rest of the design is mostly based off the F-22, as Japan was the most eager country to acquire the stealth superfighters before the United States placed an export ban on the aircraft and its designs. It is still, of course, just a technology testbed, so there will be more to come. If it reaches production, Japan will be the few militaries that operate indigenous stealth aircraft. Now, if you thought this was our science news, I'm sorry to tell you otherwise. Let's check in with correspondent Katie Jun to drop some bars for our latest science news of the week. Katie?
Thanks, Andy. Rapper B.O.B. went on a Twitter rant earlier this week claiming that the Earth was flat. The rant reached a point where astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson had to intervene and point out, in a nicer way of course, how dumb the argument really is. But of course, stupid doesn't go away that easily. B.O.B. released a diss track against Neil deGrasse Tyson in which the rapper compares himself to Malcolm X. You see, to quote the internet, arguing with a narrow-minded person is like playing chess with the pigeon. No matter how good you are, the pigeon is going to knock over the pieces, leave presents on the board, and strut around like it won. But good old Neil restored our faith in humanity by appearing in The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore and giving a mic-dropping speech on how B.O.B. isn't big enough to actually see the curvature of the Earth, and how prominent people should promote facts and education instead of shaming them. And of course, at the end, to demonstrate gravity, Neil literally dropped the mic. Andy?
And now you know the importance of staying educated. Thanks, Katie. That was the 1010 News of the Week. I'm Andy Hong. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week with more of your top 10 news in 10 minutes. I leave you now with some bars from Flat to Fact, a Drake remix counter diss track against B.O.B. featuring Neil deGrasse Tyson, and rapped by the astrophysicist's own nephew, Stephen Tyson. We'll have a link to the full song in the description below. Stay educated.
Flat Earth is a problem only when people in charge think that way. No law stops you from regressively basking in it.
He learned the game from Carl Sagan. You can never check him. You say the Earth is flat and then you try to disrespect him. I'm bringing facts to combat a silly theory because B.O.B. has gotta know the planet is a sphere.